Okay.
Come on in. Let me know if you need anything. Or take a seat by the fire and I'll send someone over.
Okay, we have some people here.
Now, where did I put those quest files?
Recorder.
Hello there. How are you today? I understand.
Be careful.
Good evening. You look like someone I saw in,
Cerwiden.
My name's Cerwiden. Most everyone just calls me Carrie.
Cerwiden. Carrie. Okay.
I'm here looking for something. But I don't much know my way around. You look like someone who can handle himself. Would you mind if I travel with you?
I need to know.
As you wish. As a priestess of Dawnbliss, I'm skilled at healing.
Dawnbliss.
I'm also able to ask Lord Dawnbliss to confer his blessings on those in need. I've also read many magical tomes.
Wow, okay then. Sure.
That would be nice, thank you.
There's a lot of people. I don't think she's
Watch what you're doing.
I don't think she's joined. I kicked over a couple of bottles.
Now, where did I put those quest files? Impressive headgear. Although, missing some hair now, are we? Hey there, Dragonborn. Ready for battle, I see.
Okay. Not load. Why do we have lag? Oh, she's probably not under the... No, she's supposed not. Recruit. Okay, recorder's been recruited.
Hello there.
Yeah, she's right.
We'll talk again soon. Oh,
Dialogue. Okay, I don't think Carrie
Yes?
she hasn't been recruited either. I don't know why. Okay. She should be recruited now.
Still here.
Right now,
I want
we've
to go
got
home to
other
my mum.
options.
What do you want me to carry?
I'm bored.
What has she got? Oh, she doesn't look like that. That's what she originally looks like, but she She looks a bit different.
You lead, I'll follow.
Okay, so hey, there's Zora.
Well met. Until next time.
Okay. There's a quest.
Didn't I tell you to leave a bottle alone?
Involves another interesting NPC, so I can't have Zora in the party. Okay, we got 4 followers at the moment. And when we get Tikrid, it'll be 5 followers. Where is it? Wind Peak Inn. Well, if she's at the inn.
Traumatized soldiers, cannibals, and the less than sane. If there's any place to hide from the world, this would be the place.
Come on in. Let me know if you need anything, or take a seat by the fire and I'll send someone over.
Okay, Tikrid is here.
Yes? I won't let you down.
Right.
We've stopped. What is it? Of course. Batil liked to say when I came out of the womb I looked like a spider, all knees and elbows. I was a gangly child. My arms and legs seemed in a hurry to grow and left the rest of my body behind. It didn't help that I was shy. The village children were merciless. Tikrid the awkward, they used to chant, like it was some nursery rhyme. Yes, but there was one child in particular, Jorn, who took things a step further. He used to climb on the rooftops and hurl stones at me. When I complained to the adults, they almost did the same. Jorn was a sweet, innocent boy, they said. Not even my sister came to my defense. Only one person ever did. Her name was Saline. She was slick, clever, mischievous, and mysterious. Her family hailed from elsewhere, and she smelled of sand and blood. When Jorn first met her, I think his jaw would have hit the floor if she hadn't thrust it up his nose. She didn't buy his sweet boy act for a second.
Okay.
We spent every minute together. Her father was grooming her to be a warrior, and she'd often share the lessons she'd learned. We met at night and practiced by the lighthouse fire. She taught me how to hold a weapon, how to strike with it, and how to defend. If I learned to protect myself, she said, bullies like Jorn could never get away with hurting me again. But if I wanted to get better, I needed to spar. And to spar, I first needed a weapon of my own. So one night I borrowed a blade from the smith's workbench. I was running up the lighthouse steps to show Saline when I slipped on a patch of ice. It slid out of my hand, off the ledge, and into the bed of snow below. Saline told me not to panic, even though I was already starting to. We ran down to the shoreline and combed the area. From down below, the fire from the lighthouse was dim, but bright enough to reflect any stray metal lying in that pillow of white. Yes, in fact, it only took me a few minutes to find the sword standing straight up in the snow. I called to Celine, but she didn't answer. She was staring at something, a dark surface wedged in the rock. I ran over and tugged at her shoulder, holding up the hilt to her eyes.
Let's drink
She
on
never
the
turned her gaze.
beautiful lady
That's when I
of
looked at the rock
Skyrim.
once more and saw the door. A black one, painted with skulls and bones. And it spoke. I was mortified. I couldn't even breathe. I backed up, tripped, and fell on my bottom, clutching my blade like a doll. Celine didn't flinch. It asked her a question. Celine talked back to it, but the door didn't like her answers. Then she repeated the question to me. What was life's greatest illusion? For some reason, my thoughts turned to yarn. I said something, I can't recall what, but the door opened and she went in.
Okay, didn't stop her.
Celine used to say that someday I'd surpass her as a fighter, that I fought so awkwardly my movements were unpredictable. But that night, at that moment, I wasn't that person I was going to be. I was who I was, and that person was weak. Mentally, physically, and emotionally. Celine told me to wait outside,
I really miss my
and I was more than happy to.
Sophie would help me dress my hair before Vespers.
Celine used to love watching the guards spar. Her dream was to one day join them, to become a housecarl and serve as the Jarl's right hand. She was always thinking about others, trying to shield us all from harm. She was strong, gallant, and honorable. She was my
Why
friend,
does it always have to be
and it
Holt
burns
with
me
snow
every
in
single
them?
day that I couldn't be the same for her. Yes, I blame myself, and I always will. Not for opening that door, but for lacking the courage to follow her inside it. So I swore to myself that I would become the person Celine always thought I could be, and achieve the goals she always wanted for herself. My body is the vessel for both our spirits, one chasing a dream, and the other vowing to never let a friend chase it alone.
Okay,
Well, it's not exactly the same thing. For one, this is my first time traveling with a companion. When I explored an old ruin, I always had to keep one eye on the ground. Even then I was pretty much a trap trigger one day and rune bait the next. And don't get me started on bone chimes. You think there is a bard festival in town the way I made those things rattle. With you leading the way though, I can just trace your steps. Not to say there isn't a different kind of pressure. I have to watch your back and cover your front. If anything were to happen to you, it would be on me. I wouldn't have it any other way. Just so you know, if you ever need a sword, a shield, or a friend, I'm your woman.
She's supposed to be tall and gangly. What is it? What is the command? Scale? That's better.
I'm ready for whatever comes next.
Okay.
Take whatever you need, I can manage. To the next fight.
Okay.
I'm sorry. My mind was just somewhere else. Do you need a Here, take a look at this. Some of the Jarl's men came by and left this bounty. Everyone in town knows about the Black Door. It'll never go away.
rite of passage into adulthood. I'm curious.
Let's get going.
Okay, so she's got that. Tikrid needs a better sword, but we'll find one for her. Right.
Help!
Still dueling.
What in the...
Okay,
What in the...
Somebody help!
Yes?
Someone do something.
I don't know what I have to ask her about to,
Let's go.
continue the quest.
Victory is yours, I submit!
Those dead Thelmore guys are still on that boat. That's the point, I haven't seen that chick that was here for a long time.
Did you have if there's a Dova deer or a Dova cow? Who says dragon blood must be limited to people?
Need a dagger, no? How about a claymore? Blades, helmets, pretty much anything to suit your needs.
Glass longsword. Do you have any glass? Okay.
Come back if you need steel.
Do you have a thing to sharpen this sword? Apparently not.
We've stopped. What is it?
Where's the... oh my god.
Batilde, owner of Ironbreaker Mine. When her and her husband Legel split up, she got the iron and left him with the quicksilver. That scrap ain't good for much save patching up elven armor. And if that's your business here, you may find yourself with a shortage of customers. The divorce wasn't much of a surprise, considering they were never really friendly with each other. Passionate, maybe, but that's not enough. It was only a matter of time before things got messy, and my sister's not someone you want to mess with. She's the kind of woman who chews rocks for fun and cleans her dishes with spit. Cross her, and you're not doing yourself any favors. At least I have an excuse. I'm obligated to love my sister. The Gelf chose to. But that makes it sound like my sister was a frost troll. She wasn't perfect. She wasn't even decent. But people who work and live the hard way, they are worthy of your respect. For a tough miner like Legelf, maybe that isn't love, but it's close enough. I know, bounty hunters put their lives on the line almost every day, and only reap from the blood they sow. When I was a guard, I gotten into hundreds of battles, fights, and scuffles, but never with my life on the line. We used to clean out the barracks and hold sparring matches. Tourneys. Put half a week's wages in a pot. Winner takes all. We'd knock each other around with practice swords until our bellies were as lumpy as a toad. I won more than my share, of lumps and gold. You fight recklessly when the blades are blunted. What's a blow to the arm if you can knock a man to the ground? People won those tournaments by turning them into melees. Old-fashioned brawls. Real fights, I imagined they'd be different. I knew they'd be different. It was just a question of how much.
Okay.
The Jarl had put up a bounty after word came of pilgrims dying near the Waynan stones. As the stones form a wreath around the Shrine of Talos, many suspected the Talmor. Few were brave enough to challenge them. Only when I arrived I found no Talmor. All was silent save the crunch of my boots against the quilt of snow. Just in case, I knelt before the altar like a pilgrim and asked for Talos' blessing. That's when I heard it, the chattering of teeth. That they were, like two boned snakes rattling their icy scales as they swam through the air. Only I saw nothing save the noise and the bending of light as they slithered and swirled around me, without a body and without a tongue. I drew my sword when I should have raised my shield. I still recall the feeling of frostbite that touched my skin as their fangs sunk into my flesh. I shook them off and darted back behind the stone. It felt as if the wind itself was trying to take a bite out of my neck. I looked to Talos for guidance. He granted my faith with a vision, a tiny red dot dancing around the altar. It was a drop of blood, and just like that, I had my answer. With but one health potion left, I would only have one chance. I tossed my shield away. I slashed my palm and squeezed it, letting the blood collect in my hand. Then I closed my eyes and listened for the rattle to get close. I threw the blood in the direction of the noise, hoping to splatter it across their glassy spines. Then I opened my eyes, and there they were. Once the mystery was gone, they were nothing more than slaughterfish, wading through the air as I stuck them with my blade.
Okay. That shield's not appearing either. Save it there.